Welcome to another exciting episode of Doug's Electronic Repair Bench.
Afternoon, YouTube. Here with you on this Saturday afternoon. I haven't turned the light on, as you can see. I wanted to show you something. See if you can see that. I think you can. I think you can see that's on. And that's why I set this up the way I did. When that switch is off, everything goes off. Watch what happens when I turn it on. Yeah, come right on, didn't it? Yeah, I didn't mean for it to come on, but what I meant was, in case I forget to turn it off, that's a fail-safe for me. Here on this Saturday afternoon, like I said, to do some more work on this power supply. I've got things I can do in the meantime that don't require the 12-volt regulators, so I can go ahead and get that done while I'm waiting on those to get here. And that's one of the only reasons I needed the soldering iron running, was I've got some work I need to do, some other stuff, so let's get busy. Alright, first thing up on my list here is my receptacle that will go in this hole back here. Oops, where's it at? There. Wrong way. It's going to go in that hole right there. And I need to get some of this junk off here that was left on there. That's one of the reasons I need the soldering iron running. Get that mounted in there so I can start attaching wires to it. And I've got to come up with a way also to make a disconnect between here, because when I put the switch on the front, thinking about mounting it here, then the pilot light will go here somewhere, and the outputs will go here somewhere. All that needs to be mounted in a way to where I can lift this up off the thing, and there'll be a wire here with a plug, which I can unplug and get this all out of the way. Now, the problem with that is this back thing here. I'm going to either have to incorporate that into the disconnect as well, or just leave that connected and just bend it back there and do that. That's where I'm stumped at a little bit, and I'm trying to figure out exactly the best way to do this. But not saying I'm totally stumped. I will come up with it, but it's just a matter of figuring it out how I want to do it. So that's what I'm working on. So let's go from there. And anybody know what this is? I'm thinking it's a capacitor of some sort. Can't figure out what else would be across the line like that. I guess I could look at the numbers and try to look it up. But anyway, this is off of a computer power supply, obviously. So let me get this unsoldered and get busy here. Alright, what we have here is the switch mounted. That's going to work out just fine. And if we look at the back here, we have that mounted, which is also going to work out. I do have a little more fitting to do with this. It's a little loose, as you can see. Made it a little wide. I don't know exactly why, but I did. But I can fix that with some hot glue or something like that. No problem, I'm sure. And once I get that lined in there and get that nice and tight in there, I'll be ready to solder some wires onto. So that's that. Now the next step on this is to give me a hole for the LED to be mounted to. I think I'm going to just hot glue that in too. I think that's going to be the easiest way. I can't, they make a little holder for those that you can put in, but I don't have any of those. So, alright, that's the update there. So, we'll be bringing you back when we have more. Alright, we're back. Hot glue to the rescue. You can see it's in there nice and tight now. Do have some glue in there, as you can see. got plenty of the strings too. Oops. I ought to test it. It's in there nice and tight though. That'll be in there just as good as I need it to be. So that is mounted. Now I got to work on the probably the LED. I've got the in the over there ready to go. I just got to figure out where I want to mount it. Drill a hole and put some glue around it and attach some leads to it. And getting closer to needing the solution I'm going to be having for my disconnect. It's going to have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 wires. No, I take that back. 6 wires because there's 2 outputs. 6 wires. And if I do the ones in the back, that's the 8 wires. So the middle one on this is going to the case ground. So I think what I'll probably end up doing is this has got a screw here that's not used for anything. So I may go ahead and just ground it to that, and that'll work out just fine, I think. And that way I don't have to worry about another wire going over to the other part of the chassis. Now, I don't know that I'm going to run this to the circuit ground or not. I haven't decided yet. It's not totally necessary. As long as this is earth ground, and if I run a line from here over to the transmitter that's earth ground, that's all I need to do there, I think. So we'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it is. So that is looking good. I'm liking that. So let me see if I can find me a drill bit to drill a hole for that LED, and we'll go from there. Alright, we got the LED wired up. I tried to stick it in the, I didn't get the hole drill too. I tried to stick it in there and hot glue it in, but the, where'd the glue go? And the glue's around here somewhere. It just came off in a big glob. It wouldn't stick to the case at all. So it sticks to the plastic fine, but anyway, gotta figure out another way of getting that in there. Probably figure out something. Put maybe a shim around it, maybe, or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anywho, that's going to stop us for now, I think, because I've been sitting here quite a while, so I may come back to it later, may not, don't know. We will see. Alright, here again with you on this Sunday. We're going to add a little bit to this video for Robert, who was doubtful about my markings on the transformer, this being the 12 volt side, this being the primary or 118, or whatever it is. AC side, they're both AC, but I mean the power line, and gonna do a little proving on this. I told him because of these wires being so long, the black wires, they went up the neck of a gooseneck lamp, and that's one of the reasons I knew. But I did do a test on this before, and I wanted to make sure of what I was doing. So over here we have the variac hooked up there, we can see that. So, and on this side we have the digital multimeter, and we'll keep that in view too. And so there's what we have right at the moment, and let me turn this on, the variac on, and we'll go from there. Go up a little bit with it. There's 29 volts, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 90, 100. Let's go around 115, I think will be fine. There we go, 115.4. Let's check over here at the other one. and we have 13 volts even. So it is, in fact, it's exactly like I said, irregardless of the, why do I always say irregardless? Regardless of the way these wires look. Keep in mind, this was probably from China originally, and you know how that goes. So, anywho, that is the way it is be hooked up. This is the 117 side, as I have marked, and this is the 12 volt sides. I guess you don't see what I'm looking at, but so. That is hard to keep it up there. Anyway, primary, secondary. Okay, that's all you need to know. Like I say, that's the voltage of this transformer and the input and output of it. So I just want to add that for Robert's benefit and assure him that I wasn't connecting it wrong. And so again, we'll take one last look at the AC. Let's zoom in a little bit on that if I can. Those things are getting a little... Now on the camera it looks dim, but to me it looks perfectly normal. I can see it just fine. But on the camera it looks just a little bit dim. So anyway, that's what we're... Well, let's take it up to 120 just for the heck of it while we're sitting here doing nothing. There's 120. And we'll come back over here, wherever we're at. Oh, there we are. Forgot we were zoomed in. 13.6. So that is a good indication that we've got the right wires hooked up. So gonna call that good, and we'll go back to the other camera and finish this thing out. Oh, well, you have seen the little demo of the transformer now. I hope that satisfies your curiosity, and I think I'm going to cut this one off here. It's probably a shorter one than I usually make, but I looked around my junk drawer a little bit trying to find something I could use with that to make that LED work in that power supply that I'm building, but I could not find anything suitable for it, so I'm still looking for that. Meantime, I'm not sure. I've got all the parts back into that box again, so I'm not sure what I'm going to work on next. Got a bunch of things I could do. I said something about the high voltage tap off of the Variac. I may do that. I still haven't ordered the box or the meters. I do have all the electronic parts though. Very few parts, needed. 2 diodes, 2 capacitors, pretty much it. I'm not going to filter it. This is not meant to be a something that's used on a regular basis as far as with radio circuits, other than to test to make sure there's no leakage current in the old capacitors that I find in these things. This is probably an unnecessary thing that I'm adding, but I wanted it, and this is one of the things I wanted to do when I got this Variac. I wanted these taps off of it. I think it's a helpful thing for the bench, and I think that's why I'm doing it. So, it may not be necessary, but it's something I want, and it's my bench. So, yeah, that's pretty much why I'm doing it. So, if anybody was wondering about that, that's the reason. As I said, I don't think there's much else I can say about this deal. I dropped Lexi off to work, so I will be off till probably Wednesday or so and be able to make some videos now. But again, I think I'm going to try to work on the high voltage thing, and I'll probably do some video on that after I put the new caps in, and we'll probably do some full voltage testing to make sure it's going to hold up to what I want it for. And I do believe that the power supply coming off of the Variac is plenty strong enough to give me up to 200 milliamps of current if so desired. I don't want that. The meter I'm getting is 200 milliamps, but the only reason I got that is because that's really all I saw that was available. And you know, I'm only interested in 100 milliamp. If you know, chances are these things, when you test them, these old radios, if they get up in the 10 milliamp range, you're going to be concerned, because the way these generally work, and if you watch Jim Lindeness at all, you know, because he uses his all the time to do this. He has the analog meters, but like I said, the same thing. The voltage, as the voltage goes up, the capacitors in the radio charge up. The current goes up a little, okay? And if everything's functioning normally, that current should come back down. Now, if it stays up for some reason, then you have reason to be concerned and something to look at, you know. Primarily, this is done so you can know if it's I won't say absolutely safe, but pretty much safe to power up an old radio with the old cap still in there. Now, a lot of us, me included, do not believe in shotgunning capacitors. I mean, there's times I probably would, but just for a radio that comes in and I want to see what it does, I like to see what it does to begin with. I want to know what's wrong with it so I can actually know that I'm doing something when I fix it. You know, a lot of these will come in with filter hum, you know, capacitor hum. So, you know you're doing something then. You know that has to be replaced. So, it's by the same token, I like to play the radio if I can, because I like to see how well these old capacitors and circuitry holds up in these old radios, because obviously I think they were built differently back then. Obviously some of the manufacturing processes were not as good as they are today. Some of the materials are not as good as they are today. And by the same token, some of the stuff made today is crap. So what you're kind of looking at is kind of a happy medium, I guess. But I've rambled on long enough. Bill would be proud of me, I know, Bill, but I can't do it. I gotta get off here and put this video to bed. And not sure what I'm gonna be doing the rest of the day, but I'll think of something. So you guys have a wonderful day, beautiful day here in Seymour. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you.